Yo. And I know you have discussed blaster home come back be so you share for neck a crabby. Oh yeah, Kylian Mbappe story say almost person or man ball outside the area no.
Yeah, no one space.
Not on your space. This conversation is more technical. It forces me to have interest in that. Kylian Mbappe say Oshego. Team now about mom no be it France or Madrid. Say Oshego. Go no so no. You share the box in. Go no. You share the box in. So we in every box in media outside on the reason being out in the outside. Anybody who says this, I try say about analyze Kylian Mbappe in the worries on the field, and the worries are born out of the profile. Now, no. Yo, every player be on the profile. When you call Ouattara, no Bokotoko, become Chelsea. The type no. Say o person u feed no or o serve no. Now when you want to say, what the ball no to the kind of penetrative pass I am. And young community. Kalu is my good friend. Me chiano baby obia. The profile I may describe it no. He loves to have the ball in the skies because aerially we durable. Durable means on a center back biakwa or not a survival. Every use my head biano, he survives the tussle. Whether shoulder to shoulder, whether Obeko and Sana later no center back and adjoining or whatever. Kalu Ouattara is a survivor, a drew a soroboa. So he loved to be served aerially. Now become Chelsea in the Kotokobo board, now become Namishibi. I think they nasty voice so yo. Every cross will be a baba box no biano. Kalu Ouattara tibe home. They already tip ball 2 goals ego Kotokonet. Justice Blay our field no so wachirubi. Mubarak mo watch on movie. That is the profile. But yes, I found another attacker. Near Shakra no super say yes 7. Yeah, obi tell you me super say 7. Also na the one go through. Na Hazard
Munina form.
So every striker biano ni profile and the how he has to be saved. Then so no. Yankopon just strikers no me bia bro. O 7 so me good. O 7 form so me good. Suarez ho. Lewandowski ho. A far from a smooth. A fast sort of a pemashe. But let's talk about Kylian Mbappe and then Leo Messi as forwards in the context of a more money PF box remember outside, you know. Yo. So far Kylian Mbappe now for Leo Messi. Me busa one question pe. How many times or how often and Kylian Mbappe didn't ahead the ball? He has a good height. The more than power. But do say and a woman is say Mbappe didn't tap him ball to net. Oh, discuss headmasters are. What Mbappe beko hobia na. Leo Messi is a forward. But how often and we didn't see a bobo. Hazard ya me body dino or a forward. But how often and Hazard didn't see bobo. But these are all natural goal scorers on any day. Mujina crown or chon the ball to net. No sorry. But they love to be served in the half pockets. Because of Jensen who has seen centre back, you know. But on the Tosura centre back in the bully no. Because they have low center of gravity. Leo Messi, our form one, who piano free ball so are difficult. Hazard, who yin free ball so are difficult. But when you jump across rope, on a JT, on a Chiellini, on a Ramos, on a Varane, those who cross you know bully no. Until Leo Messi had that no, or the Agini Dia Yaka say, oh Messi had a pair, was an qualify, a true. Behind the competing Leo Messi,
free header.
Ferdinand the channel, you know, na Messi was rather that. Village crowd no can't frame no. So no be the question. But where a center forward has to tussle in the box and fight for chances. Kylian Mbappe on yes idea no. Now, look at this picture. How I telling you Messi?
Yeah, obi no free header.
Bapa only Rio Ferdinand enko pepe. Obewoso no. Name born that from no Rio Ferdinand no so kwa. He just will chat Leo. And to be able to be strength. Now more technical angle of Kylian Mbappe profile and say, yo, on a Cavani abo, on a Giroud abo, on a Neymar, Leo Messi, Munina abo, Karim Benzema abo, it's only Vinicius money at twaso. But Macatro says strong kind of star no. Name his attacking principles. No, he applies about 70% with pace. 70% of the 100% of the goals no, 70, and you do free outside air bar. No be finish ball no. 30 na kan dey ogina na ball na ba beto no he travels with the ball or ball ne ball ne ba ball no ma meto no pacho what nkomo na say
yes
na okọ box no mu dia usually no ya na just a ball no ba beto Shevchenko Crespo Inzaghi Chikarito oh Zankrofo no ball na mo ball no nyina no mon kan game no Chikarito pie free box man playmaking activity be no ba be ye Inzaghi pie look let's start here your ball no Lukaku mo komo nya bi mo Inzaghi mo time no Inzaghi mo Shevchenko mo time no Crespo mo and Crespo kai no but it's two time am wa and Crespo our Argentina team no no mo but two said because Syria no but goal was super
yeah
and Crespo was another serial killer no go to shepa all these strikers in no omo different profile na France for analyze we say Kylian Mbappe e box ma won ka game no ho he feels idle majority part of the game no on ka ho chance ne ba na de asa akoba ba akokre hadwene ne say so box no mu a o listen na afa ball no odu box no abonte ho outside the area no e no pia hye tu gire ho na watwe center back na kwa ha
no listen mo mo
no listen ahye okay nye olise obo se bakola so frase heba ono so mu bie ma no a otumi hye Ousmane Dembele similarly exactly from me and Sano are primarily omo ne Kylian Mbappe bo no omo nyina ye creators omo say finishers with the exception of Ryan Cherki ono de on time she go kese on a natural playmaker omo maka nyina ye hybrid they score they create so ne krofo no e ba ya omemo abre rough because onu go no hye opewasem ofili obema baako oba mienu oba miensa utiri ye na o hye de obenya mu conference obotugu ya de aka nya oba obebo na de hye. But to get Mbappe involved in the game, no, omo twine pie a free box no, so that tactically it allows these guys to also have a say in the box, so that you all can also have a say outside the box. That is flexibility offensively.
So no na Jose Peso or your Madrid no.
A distribute defense pia. Mbappe pia Vinicius aba inside.
So technically, so we share San Euro ne bia. Abetu jase bia won person mo yema no na san or ba left ho na Vini na invert
all round obako Vini ho obako soro
free roll
yeah Vini would accept it. This canker it is probably Jose with a treaty, but looking at France team no building about Madrid France attacking no about Madrid France attacking no quality players in team Mbappe to GG and them said you no need Giroud mu bo no GG dem no Olise ni Bobby. It is Olise ball had na Oma Vinicius Mobi. Dembele you go be show France. The system allows these players to function around you. What you say? Yeah. Instead na say Madrid obeka ko change back to the na me wono me no me run am per right or na ma invert by inside na ma kele no. You need to respect the system. Na no kwa na coach na boa say men stay in the box. Who stay in the box o me you free mu center backs no be how. Two, wa kasa be free game no game no mutembe wa Hurricane o free baby Thomas Partey wono a odwen so obefa ball no aba oba na Thomas ne na ba na che so ne attack ni ntem asawa Hurricane ni attack ni ntem asawa o gina ho so ball no emma. So this conversation is more tactical na madwene kire me se ebeboa Mbappe pa ebeboa even Madrid whole attacking setup no want me anya ne sa na aka so onko gina box no mu yaw every time bia no opponent ne ma kini wi a you now be yes looking at say other players in Emra game no one Laporta so no be take over in Alvarez deal no there was a day now you didn't come say ya na me catch say yaw o de fan komo ne atiefo nyina edi no ento ho na mum said ye hu football on the street here discuss na ma men kama dwene emfa Alvarez no boy no obeba na ne ba no some of the processes in the best in say obesoro soro no nyo no ane pe he is a calm boy who knows or quiet but Barca for no friend Alvarez will say he's around 23-24 just verify for me on make catch there say baby out in a wusi akan if you continuously stay there
26
see atisumpo 26 years on make catch there say my friend oh hate 28 years 29 years on how o prime na wo say no o make catch no and you discussing community 26 years striker Alvarez ne prime your time bay
with me above 4 solid years
so far won Alvarez prime baby o free Argentina na buy oba no nim baby Man City o sika Man City o big coach Man City o quality players o ma fa no ma convince no oba no hala ne bo he feels as a so bo but am Brazil nti woni nam team no mu atwamre papa and o international duty o mo kofre one cripple bi disable o mo ni di nkomo an o ka chere say edipa mi dwan o wiase pa Pep Guardiola and Alvarez ne Enzo Fernandez mo sere I said no jam boss I said no ma bo no bi o de o nyini say o ye good say Haaland no na I swear my mother and my father Pep Guardiola ma unya ba no bi mo na o kono ko ka chere say o ye good player o ka chere no Alvarez buy na o be bo na adwene de chere Pep na Pep just because on what you know internet so say
omo kind bi pa omo pa
and diplomatic
said you one will beat me send the link ema no ono anya obewo bia na damfo bi na busuani bi obe forward the link ama no
it true not the Pep position say obedum de na guy ne kan say oh no Pep is a good coach oh is there no I am okay I am happy udi usu kra guy ne him but when yes I did of course so and my boy no keke kan do be keke nyina oba na Pep say no no se me kra me ko na all kono no sa ko to simieni ho a reservative coach ye kokra na you wa fase no ye coach ni say Carlos Queiroz wa fase ni simieni ye players no kokra no ayire ni jesim ye je ball na so bomba ba ko na mo follow the kakra bi say ana mo di because aba that system is really retrogressing Alvarez in the growth oni Lukman omu game ni and commando ba community yensa and when we say an Argentine a South American player wants to play for Barcelona ya otin commando say
yeah
an Argentine a South American player onyaka so babo Barca ne Madrid ni bia ya otin commando say obeko they say boy na so now you can't be catch them say be catch us was a story there me doubt ya obeka say Argentina match ya omuko boy ya tete say
oyo obeka
because there was na wo tigana wate na no simi ni we dey want him for boy no twi na mu na I dey sorry na ya o catch say obobori onkoboyo baba plan only when the plan wo fancy that wo himfa
I was Barca for no trying to say obey bibi na wan kasa after the game also or publish a statement after the game me who story I thought say be AI later na me call Argentina journalist no na mu say no boy and kasa
to be very honest Barca for no share chire kasa be chire we wajibe delete pictures be o bia sana game ni ti o Poba no ni ya turo no na kolo turo no do pinchichi chomi ya na clubs ni nim bo pani we be bobo no asem ya make local players na kwato mo bo pani we betimi abo 90 minutes amaye bo pani we na medical team no e do sha kukurukuru no be bobo no you are some days years some months later na this game is dark officiating is dark medicine is dark transfers is dark this is the football game I discuss e tu o mo ni abom pa ye ni abo cross you be a coffee no so ni abom pa and dey abo but dey ya no so ya Barca furniture Alvarez every now and then let's command the pictures ni free why you draw no munya do mo kire no
for players say na wo ka say na won just story ni ndi no now be we game o say the best e wo ho de ma munyina na ye transfer what can pay you
this statement we know now what Madrid play a international tournament ye bo wie no on no na we interview I say Madrid for me catch them say the be boa mo ne be boa me ye be boa ye tu no e ya wori jaye yo no kra no conference ni sa the be boa me no nyina e ya wori jaye ye titi entem no bi anko because me ba me nya akoma pani age pa me bobo no obitima ka say a Madrid kra no international duty in place with me from Zamomra or the Brazil for now on Vinicius. Madrid, they have their standard. They don't man call Barca no because now see the PG see the name of free and seven. And that's why me yo makumu. So I deal no mame. And my wait is so Barca for me. So wait is so cry. My mum say ke €600 and no. Then more ha. Yo, I tell you, one Laporta can name a kwanko. Keko bobo see for fraud be here the be here. Sandro Rosa, he didn't understand the move. And to any day in, day out, he said, "No, papa, sorry, Barca for Koba. We are aware. Corner ba. but tena so baby cry na
kono de obi a wonya fie me no cast Delphels there
yo
wo that's new mesa bray
yes yeah interestingly you better transfers you better World Cup in so kakra any the way our system the city a movie the koba mama sha same free World Cup no need a be transfers and now Germany lose to Ecuador by 2-1. I saw a very angered Julian Nagelsmann na ne bu ofupa to also to Tunisia. And this morning report coming from Germany even indicates say on person mo pe kwan bi should drop him and no ya.
Now makes hard decision. I must be frank with you. Mantia said that it because okay say Okaso are retire no. There was a tournament as a mo friend was say wa retire. But a World Cup there on Ukraine man test gun and me slot when you say slot to Germany no. Hwebo bi ebu national ya.
And the issue is there are certain players and on the new Canadian common or catch us a football BBI or dark side to it. Yeah. Including even player selections for major tournament. Yeah. Including player selections for major tournament. Yeah, discussing how Neymar got into the Brazil team. Sa kwa na so na so peso hunu de ntia ma no no ya ko mu a sa kwa na so bi. Iti oma discuss so mo pe kwan yin afiro. But you see, sometimes certain results are a blessing in disguise. Yeah. When you say since World Cup 2002, obi a waje World Cup ni bia no ma wanya 9 points on the group stage or their economy. After Brazil in 2002, teams on Magic World Cup ni obi amfa 9 points in the PFA group ni. 2006, Italy in the United States of America board draw. Ni anyo mo na group. 2010, Spain lose in the first game. 2014, yene Germany board draw 2-2. Ghana and Germany. 2018, France a draw to Denmark. 2022, Argentina lose to Saudi Arabia. So, only 2002 deba, no champion of the World Cup or of the world.
And all the 9
points. A PFA group. So, there may be a cause for alarm, but there is hope. And my metro they because me handle learn about Germany. Any funny thing about how Omo World Cup history be here. Now me remember one of me say after every 12 years of Germany winning the World Cup will be na ya Omo kobo the final lose. Every 12 years say Germany G World Cup ene 12 years later the same World Cup no Germany be final.
Omo ball final 2014 eje
date ni we come new year obehu date
12 years ni
12 years mu ani 12 years mu ani enko akire 12 years mu pepepa ni omi
to betimi abo final na lose
obetimi abo and the funny thing is the final they lose bia no so no mu lose final ni to a South American team.
Okay,
Germany J World Cup in 1954 on another final in 1966. How many years? 12. Germany J World Cup 1974 on final BM in 1986. How many years?
Yeah.
12. Germany J World Cup 1990 on final in 2002. How many years?
Yeah.
12. On 2014 or 2026.
And South American countries now, so your Colombia home,
your Colombia home, your Argentina home, your Brazil, Ecuador home, Brazil home, Argentina home.
Yeah, my Argentina.
Yes. Argentina home.
Uruguay so crowd.
Uruguay so home. And the funny aspect is sometimes no matter World Cup ni na Turkey qualify for World Cup. 54 there was 1966 there was Turkey. Obama behead 1986 there was Turkey. Overhead 2002 there was Turkey. 2026
na take you home no
that is it can be coincidental. I'm not saying say enu no be see, but football was a funny way of making coincidence become something ebe in na ho and this is a day. I'm just hoping this is another coincidence, but it's literally funny. And then no more results no munya no crowd may come back and be say no, but it goes down to who wanted it even more. And I think Ecuador stepped up. no mu here points in they qualify. Germany looks almost relaxed a little bit. And then head to head now, me sure say Bianca Ivory Coast will try and score more against Curaçao. Okay, go defense now. Come try more and more. But more part 2 any better. So meet my because of late currently now Yebenya Brazil Japan. Yebenya Netherlands Morocco. Maybe Netherlands game so. I think for Ronald Koeman, there are a lot of doubts around me. Ronald Koeman may what doubt say Okobo big game obetimi ya bibi de etia omo. But I don't remember the last time a Holland bar tournament or strike a fat tournament in a bomb on the boat. They said here, Brian Brobe no. Yeah, Oma bar tournament with Ruud van Nistelrooy. Oma bar tournament with Robin van Persie.
Yeah.
Holland and Kasa, Netherlands and Kasa, they are not short of attackers. Patrick Kluivert, yebetimi abobodi na almost strikers and Kasa no omo Marco van Basten. I dear friend center forward no mumre wo. Na mum and then nipa na wo lead the lines in skin color yede.
Yeah. Broby.
And the story is no related on the background campo more of a Ghanaian. This is a player onye ni munyam wo Holland hono okuta the same story as Romelu Lukaku in terms of how they see him.
Okay.
So the story of Romelu Lukaku in previous years no person say. So bobo na so shego e Belgium ni. So bobo na sanko ya refer is free Congo. And Osama when you know Kopaka, just a request for the passport. Nya has any age in a corrector because of such any age. Ni na pan on milk no dia. But we dey pan on milk. Name the beautiful stories. A dream even I asked him no that one share no yes we dey on no player papa. E Ghana ni man ko boma Ghana. Name mum do be share no say ayi bro be aba party no. Bro will have to play for the national team. And at this World Cup, center forward said you are moving and said the be a ban near Bohaland in the Alameboa, near Kylian Mbappe. We are mentioning different attackers, but I think he has done a brilliant job for the Netherlands. Call fast using the body. He's going to be the trump card for the Netherlands going forward in this tournament. Yeah, attack net day.
Brian Brobe dear.
Attack bre.
Yeah. Oh, fan. Oh yes, center back.
Obe mo abre obe yaduma. Obe call with him. Also those days, Bobo is about when a woman call with him. Obe stretch. And I love it that they are relying on him because the last World Cup, Omukoya Louis van Gaal at the Netherlands scored 2022. No, Kodi Gakpo, and I almost starting forward. Brian Boben, a shene, say when Timenya World Cup ni Bianco. You see, there are two attackers in this World Cup. Omumi story is very funny, Gakra. Okay, 2022 na Matheus Cunha got the na echi na Osuma ma say Yam Frena man na World Cup ni bi. Fast forward, he's playing the World Cup. Watch 3 goals there ma Brazil. Then there's Brian Bobe who felt say, na when they 2022 crack ko Bobi crack betimi aboy. Then fast forward, he's leading the line. Scored the gap body role as a left winger. And I think he is going to be the masterpiece for the Dutch national team at the World Cup. Ma pen a ball no World Cup we brutal. You World Cup winning na was a movie called different level. And I think there's a reason why Eric Ten Hag was so much enthused about him. But a lot of us didn't know. The back to goal. I think those kind of strikers no na a referee system. There were few ones and almost at top level. Did they drop? Or the Nechini that no say no the bonnet general than one born neighbor. Then Yabenya Romelu Lukaku no sabe bisa. And then Haaland on your side we see. By getting a striker of this type at the World Cup stage, doing so well, me mona baso when the money mona or bonya. He's doing so well. And now Morocco a few match. Because Morocco in Netherlands, there are a lot of players are also Netherlands or Moba. Even see Academy Morocco a few match. Brazil and Japan gives us a solid encounter for these two teams. It's the World Cup is shaping up, and then you maybe home to us. But for City to fork out 100 and it's not the word you are meaning, but I think I have to rephrase it. Yeah. For City, so Omube Yiska to cough up. Sorry, pa. And yet the word now would drain me pessimism, but I don't want anybody to think differently. So for City to cough up, 130 million.
Almost say for now the
yeah 1 year now would you see in the transfer market the selling club always has its price because Manchester United saw aside Jadon Sancho for 70 million euros. Not Dortmund a control 13 times said there be 75 near add-ons kakra. Germany for a type as had my sign player for 90 Germany for me to catch us is player and one sign for. Everyone wants the supporters to feel like they've gotten the best deal. It's not time for us to say mo ya 130. See to so to tell what you say so 160.
Say 116. Say 130 million. Is Elliot what's the amount?
No. But the current trend of the market.
Okay.
Yeah, you see, but City and Casano, while you coach you have the luxury. Sure, Senzo Maresca, it's not tough and no pay you man in terminal. City 60 million koto Tijani Renders. Onya be most how. Almost at another best 60 to 65 koto Nico Gonzalez. Also buy no pra onya be more. City has at 130 million pounds as a father that made for that number. It's a City midfield options or Tijani Renders or Elliot Anderson or Rodri. And at the same time, also Nico Gonzalez. Omunyina abo obi no less than 60 million pounds. Say City sabo no umuzi okra sa koja Rodri ka so so kwa. City besa coffee out be 85 million to 90 million pounds akofa Tonelli sa de na account.
You see, I say United money is Kentina Mogan.
Oh, there be. This is not even about Manchester United. Sometimes I nice a comparative way. No, United to the baby, don't baby, Name baby a City Gina say no. That is the reality. So manager be on befana Juma Biano. You have the luxury. Oh, the luxury. You better the amount. But the Jumano and won't come on a you see, Guardiola end that. Guardiola or end that City. And El Caso Pewe no one farmer now Monkofa from farmer because under Guardiola, City has become a force to reckon with. City a jet treble meboa under Guardiola. City echo 4 league titles or Gini na meboa. City the 100 points at the league. It's a Guardiola boa. No Casa Mimpewe Monkofa Sumesiano Bentefo from Fanimere Ayabe any day. Who saw back of Faba? But Enzo Maresca with the pressure brainy brutal. Ya brought 130 million. Now already pressure crab also for Enzo Fernandez here. Ejuma de biaba pa. Newcastle for ni mias na for na kakra na person mo buru no kofa Guimaraes. I think there is an agreement between Arsenal and Guimaraes. There is an agreement
for between the club and the said player.
Yes. Kenya Saka Arsenal enko tested the waters. And I think it's going to be a brilliant signing for all 28 years. Newcastle best stretch. And I'm listening to what say I didn't Newcastle here. No. They just want to get the best. Omu Piscani baby in a dear free deal, so they will sell. I don't know media and a person more confusion to Portugal team in the Munyai. That is my last story. The other net to story now we know. Also, Masako Busane to about Ronaldo. Now net to state who the NT Accra, NT
Cristiano is really important for us. But I think the word rely is too strong. We know that if the ball goes to be missed out of the box, the probability of scoring is really high. But of course, we create chances to each and every player on the pitch, and this is what we work for. We have our patterns, we have our way of playing, and I don't think we have that reliability on him, but we have that confidence on it. Cristiano is really important for us, but I think the word.
Jarvis Eddie Abai. Osi Ronaldo is just another player. Anna after Jarvis so Nancy. No, I want to reference the three players in this sound common at the Atuaso. Then we so be using the word this team is not overly reliant on Cristiano Ronaldo. Yeah, in the context of the discussion, Omu ya madena ko ese we mu pe Ronaldo asem. Yes. The media is trying to create a fracas around the Portuguese team, trying to insinuate to say we mu pe Ronaldo asem. But I don't know more no so Ronaldo. They don't want it to be a Ronaldo team. I don't mean how many times you want to explain it to people. Current Portugal team cannot be a Ronaldo team at the age of 41. No. And it even brings the best out of Ronaldo. A year ni be brave free Ronaldo so.
Okay.
So bad in be brave free Ronaldo so
contextually. Say
it's a psychological thing.
Players na match no more said about. E be pressure na free Ronaldo.
You finish so let Ronaldo relax and play his football.
Okay.
As a Ronaldo and Shego na Ronaldo anya bibia na afi omo di ni nyina be tata Ronaldo. You nyina so e boy ni say Ronaldo 40 years e 41. So why should the Portuguese team still be about Ronaldo and still be putting pressure on him? so mo kobobo bia na Ronaldo ye pass ya Ronaldo ase bibia wo say teamwork bia Ronaldo da bi Ronaldo no so mpesa na no say free kick no un dey jama Nuno Mendes Ronaldo no so mpesa. I think the fans are trying to over exaggerate things and over imagine things. Abra, the original actor of the game, no. Oh, Ronaldo doesn't need to do a lot of things to cement his legacy. Ronaldo in your Portugal team need to be the main man to cement his legacy as the best ever player to have played for the Portugal. Oh yeah, let us not be doing a lot of things. What is the seed of Kai? Seed of Ronaldo doesn't need to do a lot of things at the World Cup to be known as so on a record holder. He has paid his dues. We're trying ye, and nobody born on him. We're trying Maka, Nina Mame, Ronaldo Ayana family. He has done it. So let's nice assuming a lot of things about Ronaldo. I say Ronaldo team that he doesn't need that. All right.
Okay, Mate. Wow, Ashara from a WhatsApp landscape. My phone on done in Chemu. Many phone straight. Man done in Chemu. I record a video baby awo and yeah baby awo see actually free na free. What do video no and so about WhatsApp line in 0203 682641 0203 682641. Not just say what record do video about later on the show. Steve.
Yeah, what I say? I think sir the Portuguese national team media officer no he's underperforming. We heard a series of interviews Ebana he's underperforming. Sometimes situations like this in the place in the new munina in Mukasa into sometimes you can't assess or monkoka because odo who share media nimu potentially questions on mebusa, so you ask the boys behind the scene omakasia menkasi omokasia. Sometimes say we a media officer we smarter. Sometimes you stand in the media.
My idea no Harry Asante true there.
Oh yeah, there. Thumbs up to you.
Jordan about just let's go. Let's go.
We don't Harry me say me born about so on that. Nti senior oh yeah there. You should say oh yeah Juma. Sometimes we meet juna media and ask their questions and you use your eye gestures. So we there answer we may answer. The media officer for Portugal is not doing a good job. But as I'm not anything, I brought for Casa where they know you see us relying on him. Relying on what the battery a chess and medal. It is a wunni wa mintiming yet the Empesa Mayan. Shadrach made the pictures be as a notice Ube Timmy as a Casano Ube Road. Portugal share 43 goals in the qualifying round for the World Cup. You really qualifies and Erling Haaland at top here with 16 goals. Portugal team no do share goals kesena Ronaldo or share 5 goals. Bruno Fernandes no Mama Adams almost share 3 goals each if my stats in correct. You see near Messiah kind, that is exactly the picture the boys are trying to paint. Say it should be a collective team for us to win. My culture that World Cups and a tournament since I'm starting share ball, you don't win with best players and our top players. You win tournaments with team. That is why Zambia Beji have come Montiasi. It is the reason Germany Beji 2014 World Cup. Na bebre ntiase. You need to have a team. A team means say every facet of ututu shisha obiaye na juma ye. So if you say they rely on him, if that say Ronaldo anko ayenko. And out of 43 goals, now Ronaldo share 5 strike percentage, Obon say e wo fam kakra. E che say a team na ye juma no moko ye. But at the same time, you don't have to overburden a 41-year-old. So I don't entry a dominant cop. Oh yes, sir, you'll not be fair to Ronaldo because he has paid his dues to the nation.
Want to me?
Now, almost a year a team, no, okay, Euro 2016. Euro 2016, that was the nanny show. Nti ko check Euros no from the group stage. As a group stage, no, Croatia win. I think so man win the game.
Or draw me inside.
And no qualify.
And I say rules. No.
Yes.
I'm saying discipline.
Yes, no money. Iceland, another team being and some more. Yes. It took the last game or the second game. Now Ronaldo shared 2 goals. But Nani, it's a tournament, you know. He was very key together with charisma. But when Ronaldo in the final, the game minutes that mattered most in the history of Portugal, no, somebody stepped up and they won. With Ronaldo being on the bench because of injury.
Yeah.
So they had to be a team there. Or as a tournament in the year, Pepe, but because of me see me very as nipa me ensape and the men so more dumb. CR7, Michael Jackson and Shatawale. When you talk of numbers, they have the pull factor. A unique about them. Nyame de nyoma bebre na hinte nipa mu. Ebi mu de na different. Into Ronaldo no our numbers. Because of senior oye ne nyoma. Shatawale no one number because many can relate to the style no. Nipa miensa we. Michael Jackson, CR7 and Shatawale. Numbers omode bema. Into even in 2016, it wasn't the Ronaldo show. It was a Portuguese show. Yes, a black man from nowhere. One in a man Ronaldo fat trophy knew also, but for him it would have been a different story. So dear boys in a canon say, Mr. Mo, sad narrative I'm person more drag it on. That we don't need that at this tournament. We need a team effort. Into a car say he just one other player. It is true. Ronaldo is another player in the Portuguese team. Same as goalkeeper Diego Costa. He is another player in the team. A collective unit are fighting for the cause. Inti asemno sa wan tiasie yi abeka se enkwada ni muade e na hwese na we mu hoahoa. Messi wie ni interview no, I say with my teammates. So what then is Messi? He's another player in the team.
Okay.
So Ronaldo is equally another player in the Portuguese team. So they are not disrespecting him. But the players want them to stop that narrative. Sanya Beya Portugal team omonye. So man to me anye bibi en free ma. Yaba tene chiri mre bia ba ka se na ukutawe went me anye bibia. Ya juma we grow in it. Intina meka say idea of the Argentine team playing for Messi yam pepa no.
Want to me?
Because you maybe wo ha na yen tiase sa na ne be fa no back then. Opa ne picture out in 2015 ofa na ohwa obesere. Because any na be to HD 4K. Nti back then picture no anya ofa biem.
Adani the man who feel
because now you were not exposed to a higher grade. Inti yate hone yate Messias oh no mo bom dabi. Inti sana we mu de netie. So mo remaining as a team, they have a chance to win. Support if you're a year no France team no. They went as a team. But so who you me individually the see baby a bless my 2 December kokazo ni mo and neighbor is be treat me on the street. Obetimi Vitinha.
Another unsung hero.
Yes.
That was how World Cup ni mo.
Bless my
2D.
Rafael Varane no jinem. Omo keeper na ehwan.
You go.
Yes. But who you know na me body way obetimi we cry. Sana mo beka no. So teamwork will always make the dream work. So what I say, into that is what Engrano they are trying to avoid that. But the media officer needs to speak to this boy. You are not answering questions about Ronaldo. Anything Ronaldo, don't talk about it.
Yeah.
Ejuma says so because Ronaldo know what numbers. Nia ubusa question no person you say interview no crown ebusa asam no way. Or no so grown in numbers.
Tell me them fool say Yano Monso as some the tongue.
Yes, the media house no ya we no kobuza e. Into Ronaldo no chedom. Same as Michael Jackson my man Shatawale. I love these three people, but menye a disciple of Ubisa. Unyome bi wo ho a wo ye me fe, but that does not mean say nti nya obebi an meji too. No, that is not how I roll. Now
me question me massive. So media officer now meeting I sign the actual player, but player no ne boso be kan what you ignore no kan
for instance, the road there can Jose interview na Mereno. He was like, once Jose the Oba press conference and saying really be any so Jose be me news e me dey akọ. So ebi one man also on this the media officer and spend just 2 minutes. And yet ebi bisa say I can say ebi bisa, but say 2 minutes na you say media officer need briefing so now what we dey be and why busy with training, but a story win a day e kopa anti say bi o mu busa wa no nkwa ba so abeya no what man say e bi o nim one why busy with training, so new stories are week no a fly ti media officer na be training so you can real tell so in case we could busa wa no so be say ya no so no need 2 minutes, but boys ni bi on so agi say we can preach on what to say and what not to.
A true pa festival free but more of an insider knowledge.
Yeah.
Because I know say you man no ni room no kan say the other guy is sleeping no and no kan. But miss me who where e bia me around coach bi or you change bi me say question beto. Now I not discuss it, but question not to you know. O share the news straight hoping say obeso. But emotions no woman no.
Obeso kan.
Yes. Mama check papa coach Adote. No one example na me man no. Sometimes they want to just express it no kakra.
Almost say push you to the wall.
No mu push you, but oh baby o jana o share the straight. You know say he has to have it. But Kubenya no so am say no had him person chira kakra no. E bia ho na amaro no.
The coaches no, you see, Odi Mame Henry video no. Baby a see no. The reason Henry came in quickly and he said, miss zone. Into anybody at all, they can ask him. Unlike a presser there you have time to talk to them, but me zone or no be able to be into a quick enough odru oti and let's go, because we've not prepped for that question.
Yeah.
So yes.
Oh, what it Sharak mama bite na mama sound na yenti Jordan there no dey tie.
Jed Spence refusing to shake hands with Jed Spence refusing to shake hands with
Jordan and Kobe Yano. So media officer and pay problem beyond. Yeah. Let's go.
A very distraction. So and I want them prepare for that question, because we were just after the game and will be a who picture no. The picture na sem no be busa no. Media officer no but at that moment every game no, he has not had time to speak with them. So therefore I was say okay. So these are the things. Even with the coaches no, we leave coaches to talk about things that are tactical, but any other conversation coach can say we need the Jitun concede and the assembly. So that these are the other tricks that we use sometimes.
Most people say Portugal boys no respect it. But from the now come here count be so no minim say san e tie pass e bia o boys ne pese omo yi pressure free Ronaldo so they are fine. Yeah. But once I'm make say Pedro Neto kaso say ubisa me say you guys rely on Ronaldo na ka say bia the word rely no are you too stronger. Oh, you've relied on Ronaldo for tournament be amakuko kwa nyo no anke bia nkamfa. But say the momo kan san na boys no no man, don't get me wrong. That's a sign maybe omo ye dia and you fine.
Yeah.
Say be ye pressure the free so.
Yeah. Every football team no. Go see Amashe Ronaldo or he how we be su ni nyina no. Obi na bomber no bosh.
Yes.
So he has also relied on somebody's assist to score the goals. But support to go game no share 5 goals. Na Ronaldo share 2. 3 no how many share. So it's team effort. They can rely on each other. Say new team, new wow, I'm fine. I can't do this. But without him, they were the heroes.
But I know he shouldn't even assign it, even though they can true.
Yes.
But he shouldn't even assign it.
That is
I don't say out of
yes.
And make us say media officer, and that is where I feel on your you may be. But the Omoyane say, let's focus on the team and get the job done. Because 41 there. Now some more youngsters here, more Champions League back to back. If you are still relying on Ronaldo there, then you are not in the best place. He has the record of scoring most goals. But baby, Ronaldo Edruno, and they said they own an anchor pension. Do you expect him to pay your school fees again?
So Ronaldo pension.
Oh, baby,
that's a boy, very active.
Oh, baby,
active.
Oh, I am very active.
But the Nasara G League now.
I'm not saying so on G League, but baby, I will do. Any papa no iron. I didn't be now expecting free run. Or Bobo na fancy ultra or to say a lot of the sharpness in the core. And now you are not seeing that. Ball now share 2 goals. One ball through pass here. And Americana Tetediano or go back on it.
Well, Kelly say Portugal scored 9 goals in the 2016 tournament, but Ronaldo had 8 goal contribution.
Yes.
8 contribution. How many?
8 goal assist.
8 goal contribution. So goals and assists and a club.
Into your assist back one answer answer whatever way.
To me,
who assist TB. It's teamwork. So what you say? Into my third man, what's me fat pen ma okra. My ring. Production. Because at that moment you needed it. Into a team sport and your boxing.
Yeah, but the Bruno, you know. You're saying the press
after DL's game, no. After DL's game, no. So Obiashe be for compare Uzbekistan and Bruno.
Yeah,
towards Ronaldo.
I mean, there was change.
Now, I don't know make kind of say
there was change
because only I know now and the born out down. We are selling for
no corner who ya me say why highlight it as some now, but you about to know why you quick enough to score there. You are talking about
Bruno Diano and yes, I didn't go back and watch matches at Bruno Nura national team. Ronaldo Bemwa. I
said last no Ronaldo for the go bia.
I say as o munya so the born name more o the man say na ayo mo yo se den.
No Ronaldo should try. I say ya.
If you didn't kwan the other go. E dey dim.
Sisi baby Ronaldo.
Ono Bruno non kan no crese against Uzbekistan na. Unya mo ye bi buy. Ronaldo at the right place no kwa be free buy. And secondly onu Bruno no bo true pass ma Ronaldo no e dey see
yeah
ba we
abasha
ba ko bi asuru say na fei na Portugal tag born free box man na no answer the ball
and Gonzalo Ramos no so crash nye bibia no aka say on say manono ya dey na sivu okay better goalkeeper to Kobel no ana Kobel no what is back Nobel etwo se second by Ramanama omu de manono wa de na akwakoye but we de ni obi antinachi Rafael Leon antinachi
yeah, it's Ronaldo. Some boys in the A&E. Now, Gennaro Gattuso, baby, or will be and also Pence will be the dry or pensioners will be dry because he has committed a grievous sin against Africa. Gattuso said Africa should have fewer sports because none team ne bread. And they Africa call World Cup now. For the first time, an African team and a Brazil will group only in the same points. Yenya 7 African teams are potentially they can still qualify to the next stage of the competition. World Cup we know a World Cup for Africa to prove and I say make a bold statement or say we are more than capable enough. Yeah, for a continent that has produced Golden Boot winners, Tony Abu Ajibi in the Bundesliga, Obama Nyamo Ajibi in the French Liga, Ubenya Shabani Nonga from DRC winning the top scorer award in the French Liga. In the Syria, we've had Victor Osimhen winning the top scorer award in the EPL. So it means that it is a continent that is rich in quality and talent. Umetimi ayade. But Africa talent na yenyan a disappoint here when you call the global stage now. Now Osha baby a yedri and in the last round of games Africa potentially ebetime as many as 7. So baby Africa drew there. I'm expecting Africa to make a big statement.
Okay. We
saw DRC, we saw other countries. Omo Capo Verde. And the talking points are World Cup no. Ivory Coast against Germany. You boy. Yenya Capo Verde against Spain. A favorite to win the World Cup. Quevedo the first time at the World Cup yehu di omo so media I'm trumpeting the African Cup
Mate
say we need to go far with this competition to make a statement to say we are not just there to add up to the numbers.
Mate Steve me da say yeba new
yeah eba bibia cool I had much another time. The Blasters, they've given us some great hope. Say, against all odds, so me responded to the occasion. And of course, the coach in the Swatch was show a lot of knowledge in the game. Say, Wamantem. But then, given that short time, I walk around the squad. No, what me I gather some amount of knowledge. Even game ne koso no who say why answer or why selection be or make a decision one so with me who that decision no recover the error esa ba game no well your games ni so but no one ye de beka so me hwe games na ye bo no a and a conversation ye keto bi one the game na ne Croatia be bo no afa pa na ye team a o use wins ye afa na any team and team po eye obekonche ha apart from that no oni bibia bie wo obeye but England there ye momu na ye force wo mo say omonkonche because we really narrowed and suffocated omo team no finfin ho made the spaces so smaller for them. We all watched the game. Actually, the man for be asashe. Centrally, na ya aware say England need a natural creator be for ball no be twin pa mienu be jato striker anim. And that when we force them to keep the ball. Hurricane Momuno and one of the best players to stay in between the lines. It will be free attack and urban field. And of course he did so. Thomas Partey so it be an ejuma. But against Croatia, game no ejina wins no so for omo. Now wins no so ejina no if you be na call wins no. Dey no me example bi tro. I think me say apply no ha. Me use to tire credit no. Once time me can say Hurricane e drop e ba ha. No use Anthony Gordon. No come Madueke. Pacho wati ase. And na team no make sure say aha no ba ha ye wa ha. Oponko kan 2 no no 3 on top. Of course so abako to different system. Shade bi wa. Yes, and use the same principles. Luka Modric and Mateo Kovacic obo position ni. No say Adam Kacho say tire akra no aha na ye anko no. Aha na kura dua ni nyina. So Modric and Kovacic, how do we disrupt them? Now we know yes it's deep because as I say quite disable Modric or top war, but I only na party war. As I say quite disable Kovacic, and then Modric omo relationship with the defense no. I hold we process the game no. Croatia game the free midfield by a counter.
Cause omo me ni mboni kitamo.
Apart from that, when you have listen to this a more technical. So we Busquets o ball no money tum. Yes. O Vitinha o team na ball no money tum. And render him useless. Sound of profile in the game, no principles on it here. So they have Modric. You think Modric will stay? No, it's actually Butum. Near Bobo Nafaso. Maybe in the Modric by field. So let's talk about this.
No one be Vitinha Modric.
Oh, no, the base. They are kind of the first phase of the game. That is J1. One fashion encore. It's a free sugar card. Share 2 there. A bit me a call. But we know. Let's treat the J1. That is Luka Modric. 2 no, Kovacic. So the pivot 1 and 2 no. How do we disrupt their relationship with the defense? Because DJ Kalekata, Joseph Stanisic, Josko Vardiol, some Crawford in the watch or Momo Fabon in Sammy Ferdinand, no, they go through them. How do we cut the pipeline? We need somebody to disturb that relationship. Unfortunately, Baby and game ni January Hurricane or the Thomas Partey mano. Hurricane not that top until back to Thomas Partey close to the defense.
Run to me.
Yeah, we no buy defense and so we need somebody up top. I hope you have it now. Who does that job first? Who's going to do it? But let me show you something in our team from the defense. Your boy Abaso. Hey, your team acquiring them. There was chances I've analyzed. Na me pese me share we say kwan ya boss fa so call your box no mu nyina no e na me wo bechi your boss na ya baso your boss Gideon Mensa baso ba onim trick bi awe so Gideon Mensa ho oko outside her or struggle to catch up with the recovery. Senaya, so far line also be true. Would be far line also Senaya, but inside the wound to me when you use the left. It must be a fan whereby inside the piano. And depending on 1-2-1-2 one call line, so call line also the Hajj Bonaba. And I know rim Portugal Bon line also or a good tackler. But when you invert, he struggles to catch up with a 10. I've seen all of them. So I was thinking about how the balls got in the box.
Because power search more a bit inverted.
Bruh, that is their game. So Modric cover search now. Almost possession 1-2-1-2-1-2. I want to negotiate looking for spaces. Pass Alex or Pejanity. I know the actual man. Check all their games. So whom you know about? About game name Rikamrika. Apart from Rikamrika, what do they have? Until Budime and all that final third, then a Peter Musane there. I'm going to crash strikers or maybe a video man on the ball on the Yo, Shadibi ha. These are some of the few times a boss buy a box room. Look at this penetrative pass. There was a shot on target, but I found out say Sabri Nobiaka said ball you blockade and Maria say whenever a ball is blocked in the frame, it is treated as a shot on target.
Yes.
Whenever a shot is blocked outside the frame, you're off target. So Bopo no na konchanya off target. Bopo never inside on target. Patriotic, I say. Watch that block. So there was a true ball at some point in a body real move with speed. Let me say defending a boy Basuni, there were a few balls. Watch this build up. Oh, said there was a combo. And a quickly defense and a recovery. Now this recovery, long shot to the who at the end ye how are not a coin demo. So watch this. Ushe team say no. There's the constant back four no which are visible. But in between them, not my game to me this distance at the ball 2-on-1. It means technical team, because you could give me any best defense. So best defense, I then a ball so you call box room.
Still a crime down.
So the coach will still go back and analyze this. But there were chances that went into the areas to say, analyze it. And this pass was from here. So a breaking defense, in between Senaya and Najeti, that build up on the course and a hurricane ball. But the good thing is we recovered. Watch that block. And it's me body flow. So I've been thinking about this. Midfielders way, my game a passing ball. So we are talking about Modric, who disturbs Modric on the ball up top. Said we are passes will be my watch this. Then in a turnover, Lucy Bono, Hurricane also had another shot. So I was analyzing all of those situations and saw say Thomas Ewene Bono Wahano in a turnover in a dangerous area. We had 4 against 4 in the game.
Also James.
Also go free but also game rule 4 against 4 B. Tell me you play 3 how much you say? Because obviously it's still deep.
Tommy recovery new and I'm say ebia say you recover bona there should be players who be the American ko ebia from middle and that flanks. You want say obia settle for moko and a bonus uncle came. So the upper go back. Never time out to recover born. I won't say place now. Imagine say you will see a catch your money break. What they had is before say be our belly to that born.
I don't know.
What they had? Night carbon away. On the place now. Say
Komoko.
Yeah. So I can say almost burning more committee men forward. So any not born as quick as
any you will move free no. And be your form for.
Yeah. And just one pass born internet come a problem because yes we have a come.
These are some of the ways boss buy a box room. But this sir, they will be repeating buy a boss in a travel no. Which is something very, very a similar pattern to the Croatia for no. Say no. Boss in the free say about. Asari organization or your top notch. What Okasa? Yeah. Okasa, our boss when you do next man just so not Jordan training the share. And a Jordan year 1 year more you know. Apart from this, back or show myself 4. One responded. So I've been analyzing your organization, some of the time near astute or box room, you boss the free hole. But we also saw your neck, especially the night open play, we know a dead boss, so the keeper has time to organize the back line. But you hold it for on the buy,
Yeah.
4 in the buy.
Yeah,
now let me tell you why he went for the 4. More technical. I told you now what the buffer so now be. Let me show you why it is 4. Shabon who nipa 4 they are giving Benjamin Asare 3 different angles. Into more disable Anthony. He doesn't know which angle who is taking the ball. But what I say, Declan Rice Jinahubi. I will show you. So look. So analyze it. Now Benjamin also needs 4 for these angles. Hurricane will be offer. Declan will be offer. You know, said Declan not a power.
Kane similar.
Anthony Gordon and James, and a banded power kakra a support. So he is calling for 4. Baku Fruma, because okay, we have 3, okay. That is communication. A perfect organization from Benjamin Asare. But me say, a dead ball, so he has time to organize. Now these patterns lead me to open play situations similar to this. Why can't we deal with this one? Well, Thomas Partey, no market Kane or baby. But no Sasu ready Declan because I'm sure when you no say obetimi be. Oh say Hurricane a free her. Once Hurricane a free one and they still have something different to discuss. Messages also. In fact, defensively, the organization a top pa yaw. The organization a top, but organizing a set piece or a dead ball and organizing open play difference. Open play or the morning I'm here, but now those we at her. So was Ariano. Oh, Casana was away because you always want to show someone between a free hadiaba. Now there have been open play balls. Yeah, I buy a box in my hard. At this step way. Look, you bought Croatia game we are looking for ways because so far amobo defense ne bo sena ya mo omo yo madwuma so mpeso hwade ya ha say mame sena ya area ni ajete ya adwuma wa ha that also ya bo sena ya baso ni nyina no you know say ajete ya adwuma wa ha. These are some of the ways na make no what something. These are some of the ways so yes what be fat line so what they are on twema. He's done a marvelous work, and they found a way to be bringing this half boss. Except for the fact that your recovery senses are high. Your recovery is pa. But me can't see me what I say the actual. Shadi or mami. What we area have? I mean a perfect picture. One picture we. So a high line a boy. Principles are about applying a different from the low block. When you retreat into the low block, you switch to clearances, blocks, interceptions. I have no time when I over free, offside when I over free. I have offside a free, but over highliner, or clearances. Over highliner, how you block. Who do you answer a free to recover the ball? Who free man I offside do? No more sackable. But I know you block clear. And this system no is suited street centre backs. Because the street as what I say. Away, let's go, come on. I don't know about JT, but a JT when you want to place him in the high line, you demand his pace, you demand his extra intelligence. That is not to say how you're intelligent, but a more physical and get the ball out of this zone. So a boamo and the coach loves it. On said Jerome Poku, a Babiana, they move the ball away. 2 or more height in the Juma. It is a Thomas Patessa Shebudia, Nebwa. There was something close to this. I actually imagine about to say, in fact, say to me, accurate all these situations. Yeah, Croatia game no game a bro so. Even though I don't think you bet me a game wa kwasha 3, especially Croatia game no say a kwasha me ensa no. Me who be a goals in the free, but so far 2 goals e me for the free ba. Caleb. Your strikers is easy for, but the strikers do the tournament now. Yedi Sahaku, Niama, Bonsuba, Jordan, Semenyo, Inaki. Yes, but the system doesn't favor them. The system is more defensive, and it doesn't favor the attackers. So all these balls now by a box, some of them were half dealt with. It was also opponent let chance maybe. And I keep asking myself, say, if we have really limited England to this point, it means going over against Croatia. No, you bet me, yeah. Some of the times, I think it's a sheer movement here. One said Thomas Partey, Hurricane and Rana may come once a minute. But boy, Declan Rice and a pemmy. Declan born or pem to toy, This was a starting point of the movement, When they call it by boxing, that is why the other day.
I said sometimes, your boys can be a court ball watching.
Thomas ni oye Kenny Wajuma, but this is a actual receiver. Obeba box no late. Beka Jeklan. Obeba box no. On ebeba be fa cross we say. On say Gideon Mensah make say ko out wa ontumi recover say dey open no. We in outside. But
familiar foot.
Yes. Because here no for so say bra inside. It's all for so far by bia.
Asanka naturally or you left footed no so the one Asanka you comfortable.
First thing they say force the ball inside. If you are the body no I say. Or show so the far boy into a force so the quad dey unnecessary or yeah no. But sometimes no when you no so to challenge or line make a line so. Into 110 no call. I'll show you another one here. And you know kwa scenario no so ball inside on so break outside or quick. So say space ni BSA I am wa ohunu. So space in here
wait me about to
you one here yeah because I wing abadu okay or try so do beba now recovery ball no dia ebinya good connection ho and I saw similar patterns of the movement and then also so taking on this is Sinaya as a right back na sa time na fe na say madu okay aswitch ase ho no Bukayo Saka height net say but he had a connection to that ball she be ofiri by no ho and the decline there nyepe she need decline movement no ball no beko and then that's Bukayo Saka. So when you have a team one on the team upon say crosses and or the be adwuma pa dia or be high and it has always been leaving some gaps here na yen to me and recover now or drive ball no at the that box room but sometimes you want somebody to just track down but they are now corner said you omunya no and can best stop the ball but for Bukayo Saka to challenge our center backs no aha na ya na mempe no oh odi for Bukayo two team one who odi can Declan
João Neves probably and I say be arguably the shortest player on the pitch but Olip was shaping the Champions League now we have for Portugal.
That's true.
João Neves I be so similar to Saka the na Wokano so say basi you could share Portugal and based on results are a bit peer or one player to watch because of all kind floating balls near free
Bukayo so
left and right side a back box no mono Tina make João Neves asem no
now Gideon Mensah out yeah Olip very good jump Gideon out
yeah
Gideon out on nobody no chase a ball sign but when he goes here the ball always gets in there oh the person and me say Croatia for no wins no dominating more also offer line so no too but you have another situation and nipa no be inverted na by inside like that watch it well then the ball comes in here and it's a Thomas Partey situation now I'll show you this no one say very critical this is Thomas the movement in the MFP we need him like the intelligence and nipa two can ho I see ho I don't know the ball comes here and should position no that is it because abiti ajete abefa ajete so ajete twene na England amo occupation area ho
so say say bia Ronaldo de man to many years say also be share the two center backs in them ebe serve as the third center back system na think I we a clear opportunity for England.
Yeah. Dodonato. And they continuously brought different floated balls. When somebody finish about way a vertical float, or the free box to say, they all have rebounds.
Some more height.
They all have rebounds. You saw that one? You saw that? Who ni per fan? JT. And should be a ball if you buy it. But before this, me running up for the amount you come and see. I did not quite have to say he had them covered. Omuni. Pacho hunu. Omani ekono. I had a Nico really. He had him covered. These are the minor spaces because some say yeah, in 5 years some mama ha. And I'm trying to obey you to check it one. Watch him. Just watch here. Still. I love that word. You can see it. He has him in fold. But Nico O'Reilly Bejano. Who is Nico O'Reilly when we talk about area duels? He's really a center forward. But he has the ability to beat a center back. Watch. When I hit the bar now. When Hurricane boy bunko to ja, you trust our picture now. And it was a big chance by virtue of a cross. Yeah, these are the few balls that buy a box room. For Croatia, they will be dominating on the lines better than Panama and England have done. And a Pasalic more.
Yeah, Pasalic and Perisic.
So yeah,
true.
I'm watching full Croatia.
Full Croatia. Whoa.